Welcome to the Q Master class. Today, part 4, Q Global installation. Today is 23rd September 2021. I'm Sagar Nandi. You already have my detail. Let's proceed. Disclaimer, I am not an investment advisor. This demonstration is for educational purposes only. It is not a trade recommendation. Trading involves risk. You and only you are solely responsible for the outcome of your trades. These are the Q systems. They run on Treestation and Metastock platforms. As part of Q Masters class, we are covering all the blocks one by one. Today, we are going to look at installation of Q Global. On Metastock. These are the topics that I will cover. This is not a comprehensive training on Q Global. There will be separate session for that. This is on how to install Q Global, how to download the latest version, carry out the installation, and then activate the license. Once the installation is complete, we may validate that the installation is successful. I'll go through all these steps, and Q&A is not at the end of the session. You may ask me questions anytime, either using the chat panel or you may unmute your audio. Download. To download the latest version, you may go to your personalized download page. This is the address of the page, and then download Q Global. If you are also using the alternate Q signals, momentum signals, many of which are HGSI-like signals, if you see that in your download page, you may download that as well. Let me do that on my computer. This is the website sagarnandi.com. You may access the personalized download page using this download menu option. Once you go to the personalized download page, you may log in using your user ID and password. Let me use my user ID and password. Once you log into your personalized download page, you will see all the softwares available to you for all the ones that you have subscribed to. For Q Global installation, you may download this by clicking the link Q Global. And if you have the alternate signals, momentum signals, you may also download Q Global 2, the alternate signals. Q Global 2 is the incremental download, not the full download. So if you are using momentum signals, then you may download Q Global and Q Global 2 both. I'm going to do that by clicking on the two links. It will download in your usual download folder. For me, my download folder is downloads. So it has downloaded the two files, one for Q Global, one for Q Global 2. While installing, you may make sure that your Metastock version is matching with the version specified in the download file. The current Q Global downloads are for Metastock 17.5. If you go to Metastock and then go to help, about Metastock. Then you will see the Metastock release that you are having. And for my computer, it is 17.5. You may ignore the big number at the end. It is 17.5, and that is the version for which the download files were created. So I have the correct version of Metastock. You may make sure of that before proceeding with the installation. We have completed the download. Let's go to the next step, installation step. Before installation, to make sure that if anything goes wrong, you are able to restore from backup, you may backup the entire system. How to backup Metastock along with all add-ons, including QGlobal? I covered that in a separate session. I will not go through that. Once we back up, then we'll proceed with the installation. I will carry out the actual installation in this video. You will see the steps. You may also refer to the steps from my website, sagarnandy.com. You may go to the topics under category Q install and then look for the topic under Q global install. So my website, then go to Q install and then further into Q global install, you will have all the installation steps there. Now, while installing Q global, it can be one of two types. Either fresh installation, that means this is the first time you are installing Q global on a computer, or incremental installation. Maybe you installed Metastock and QGlobal already before, and now there is an enhanced version of QGlobal. That is what is meant by incremental installation. When you are doing incremental installation, if you want, you may remove the existing components. The existing components meaning templates, layouts, explorers, expert advisor, indicators, and even DLLs. It is not always required, but it is good to know how to do a complete fresh installation. I already have QGlobal installed on this computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the existing components, the components listed here. And while removing, make sure at least one minimum item is there for all the components so that the list doesn't become empty. Whether it is the list of explorers, expert advisors, or indicators, make sure the list doesn't become empty. I have seen sometimes if there is an empty list, then Metastock gives some error. So we'll delete the existing components and make sure at least one item is remaining after our deletion. Usually that will be the case because we are going to remove only Q components, not non-Q components. So one item will usually be there. Sometimes you have removed the non-Q components also, then it may lead to an empty list. That is why I mentioned this specifically. Make sure the lists do not become empty after we delete the Q components. Now DLLs are one of the components. However, for fresh install, it is not required to remove the DLLs. But in case you wanted to remove, then you may go to this folder, C:, users, and then replace user with your username in your computer, then app data, local, innovative market, analysis, Metastock 17.0 formulas, external function, DLLs. A long folder name. If you go to that folder, you will find all the DLLs. QGlobal's DLLs are these. One is QGlobal.dll, one is CWM.dll, and two DLLs that start with VLQ Global. These are all created and installed by Q Global. Then there is another DLL that I didn't create, that is created by Metastock. It's called forum.dll. Q Global uses that DLL. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total DLLs. Out of that, 4 created and installed by Q Global. Another one created by Metastock but required for Q Global. So this is also installed. Forum.dll is also installed as part of Q Global installation. Now, when we go through the install steps, what to do with the download file? If the download file contains an application, simply run it. If the download file contains other files like layout, DLLs, etc., if any, it may not always contain layout or DLLs, but if they contain, just copy them to the appropriate folders. I mentioned what is the appropriate folder for DLL, and for layout, the appropriate folder is documents Metastock. I covered that in more detail in the Metastock for Q Global session that I conducted earlier. Now, after the successful installation, we'll delete smart charts, set default with the specific name DEFAULT, default template, set this same as Q default daily template. Then if you are using a different monitor size then the multi-chart templates may not fit properly on your computer. That is usual, that is common expected. You may resize the multi-chart templates to fit your monitor size, so they will look better when you apply the templates. And if you want to add some of the templates to your custom toolbar, you may do that. I covered the templates, layouts, and also the custom toolbar in the previous webinar on Metastock for Q Global. And after the install, backup again. That will make sure we have the latest version of Q Global backed up. So we have already downloaded the software. Now I'm going to carry out the next steps. What are the next steps? I'm going to remove the older components. I'll not remove the DLLs. Then I will install Q Global and also Q Global 2. I'll delete smart charts, set the default template. I don't need to resize multi-chart templates because the install file was created on this monitor itself. I don't need to adjust custom toolbar. It is already having all my Q Global templates. So I will simply back up after Q Global installation is complete. So let's start with these steps. On Q Global, I am going to Expert Advisor, selecting all the Q components, and you see I have already removed all non-Q components to speed up the performance. That is why when I delete everything, I'll delete all Q components but keep one so that the list doesn't become empty. So select all the ones except one. If you had non-Q components, then you could select the Q backdrop, the first one itself also, but I'll not do that. So click delete, it will prompt, do you want to delete? Click yes, delete it, close. So I deleted the expert advisors, then go to indicator builder. Again, select the first one with prefix of Q. All Q components have the prefix of Q. So choose the first one, scroll down to the last one with Q. And here I see non-Q components are there, so I can delete everything with Q prefix. Highlighted all of them, click the delete button. It will prompt, say yes. Indicators are deleted. Now let's go to Explorer under Tool. All the Q explorers also have the prefix Q with some special character. Check mark the first one, then scroll down to the last one with Q prefix. Keep the Shift key pressed and left click the mouse. You will see all of them are selected except the last one. So click the checkbox for the last one once more. That way, all the Q explorers are selected. Go to all explorations, this header label, right click and delete selected explorations. It may sometimes show this button, delete exploration or exploration report. Choose delete explorations. Click OK. Okay. If Metastock crashes, as it happened for me, no problem. Go to your start program, Metastock, or if it is pinned to taskbar, go to taskbar and run Metastock. It will run Metastock again. Let's go to explore and make sure all the Q explorers are deleted. Yes, they are deleted. So we have deleted indicators, expert advisors, explorers. The last thing to do is to delete the templates and layouts. For that, go to documents, go to Metastock, select everything with the prefix Q, and press the delete key. So I have deleted templates and layouts. Go to Metastock and close Metastock before the installation. Go to File and Exit. So I cleaned up the Q Global installation. DLLs, as I mentioned, I don't need to delete for a fresh installation. Now I'm going to install Q Global. I already downloaded the two files. Q Global 2 is the additional incremental package. So I'll install that later. First, click on Q Global, download. There are two files. As I mentioned, if it is an application, we simply run it. And the second item has a label run last. So we'll run that last. First, let's run Q Global. Double click on it. When it prompts, select run. And because these are not widely downloaded programs, it may give a warning. Click on more info and then click run anyway. Now it will give a prompt, copyright prompt from Superior Profit or sagarnandy.com. Click OK. It may give an alert that some duplicates are found. Do you want to overwrite? Click overwrite. If you are doing a completely new installation, this prompt may not come. That's fine. If you see anytime a prompt to overwrite older components, click overwrite. It actually displayed a progress bar that unfortunately came on the other monitor. No problem. That installation is now complete. Now we may run the second component. It's also an application. So I'm double clicking on it. When the prompt comes, click run. Again, if Windows alert comes, click more info and then run anyway. Duplicate tools detected, that is fine, override. And then it completed the installation. There was a progress bar appearing on the other monitor. So Q Global is now installed. Now, in case you also have Q Global 2 as a download, you may go to that downloaded file. This also has only one component, Q Global 2 application. Whenever it is an application, run it. So double click, Windows alert, click more info, run anyway. Again, the copyright message will come. Click OK. If override alert comes, click override. And sometimes syntax error may come. That is fine. If syntax errors come, that is because it is an incremental installation. Actually, the components are complete when you combine Q2 with Q Global, but Q Global is already installed. We are just doing incremental installation. So it is thinking it doesn't have some components. That is not true. It has all the components. So if syntax error comes, that some things are missing, that is fine. Click continue. This may come for Q2 or anytime I provide an incremental download, not full download. That's expected. Click continue. It showed the progress bar. Unfortunately, it came on the other monitor and then it completed the installation. Now Q Global installation is complete and Q Global 2 installation is also complete. Let's run Metastock. There are few more steps. One step was to set the default template, and before that delete smart charts. Fine. Go to file after running Metastock, click on delete smart charts. So cache files will be deleted. If it prompts, click yes. Yes, I want to proceed. Fine. Smart charts have been deleted. Now we are going to set up the template to be used by smart charts. In chart application, Power Console chart application, in the apply template, instead of choosing smart chart, choose Q default daily and open any symbol. Let's open qqq.o. Once it opens the symbol, right click on the chart, any black or empty portion of the chart, right click and then save as default template. Replace existing template, yes. So now we have set Q default, that is this daily template, as the Metastock default template. Now close everything. Now if I open any chart, let's open Hawaiian Airlines, and I'm going to open it with smart chart from now onward. Any symbol I open, I like to open with smart chart. Open chart, and it is going to use the default that I have just set. I don't need to resize the templates. What I mean by that is that resize template is required only for multi-chart templates. So let's explain what that is. Apply template. Let me use a multi-chart template, weekly, daily, at a glance. Replace existing chart, apply. So I'm going to look at QQQ now with, sorry, not QQQ, Hawaiian Airlines now with weekly, daily chart templates. Now, because the download was created on the same monitor, it is perfectly fitting the monitor size. If it is not so, when you view this multi-chart template on your monitor, you may click this button, column button, to resize. Let me show again. If they are not fitting properly like this, maybe not fitting the entire monitor, click the column. It will fit the entire monitor. Go to File, Save As, Template, and then override the template that you used. In this case, Q at a glance, weekly, daily. Override, save, and it will prompt, do you want to override? Yes. And now if you apply that template again, it will be perfectly sized to your monitor. So let me do that again. I'm not replacing existing charts. Yes, now the weekly, daily together multi-chart template is perfectly fitting my size. You may size them the way you want to size them before saving them and overwriting the old templates. If you wanted to add some of the templates to the custom menu bar at the top, you could do that by right-clicking and going to custom toolbar properties. How to adjust custom toolbar, that I already explained in a separate webinar. I'll not do that now. And once that is done, let's make a backup. File, backup user files. You may save it on a cloud drive. If you are using OneDrive or Dropbox, you may save it there. For demonstration, I am saving it on my downloads folder. Once you select the folder, it will back up and give a successful message. Backup completed successfully. Click OK. If I go to my download folder, it has created a Metastock user backup with today's date. Usually, I add a suffix to that with today's date. So 23rd September 2021, and save it on cloud drive. That way, if you want to install Q Global on a new computer, you don't have to go through all these steps. You may simply restore from the backup. How to do that? That I have already covered in a previous webinar on Metastock for Q Global. Let's see what is next. So what I did just now, I had Q Global installed. So I first removed the existing components, didn't remove DLLs, installed Q Global and Q Global 2, then deleted smart charts, set the Metastock default template. I explained how to resize multi-chart templates. If you needed or wanted, you could adjust custom toolbar, and I also backed up Metastock now with Q Global. What's next? License activation. We have installed Metastock. Now we need to tell the sagarnandy.com site that this computer has the active license for Q Global. How to do that? Save your computer's hardware ID, HWID or hardware ID, on the personalized download page. The same page from where you downloaded Q Global. You may save your computer's hardware ID on that page. That will tell the personalized download page, which is also part of the license control system. It will tell that this is the computer that is having Q Global active license now. This needs to be set only the first time you install Q Global. Not required to do it again if you are installing an updated version of Q Global, because you would have set the hardware ID already when you do the first installation. For an enhanced release of Q Global, you will carry out the Q Global install steps, but you don't need to set hardware ID again. When you may need hardware ID to be set again, that is if you change computer. Then you may save the new computer's hardware ID to the same personalized download page. That will in effect transfer the license from the old computer to new computer. So many Q traders, including myself, we use multiple computers, desktop, laptop, etc. So I tend to save, and other Q traders also save the different hardware IDs in some text box field in the personalized download page and simply cut paste from there to save the active computer. I'll demonstrate that now. Now, how do you get the HWID or hardware ID? That is available by running a program, and that program is available in a forum post at sagarnandy.com. That post is how to download and install QGlobal. So I'll show that. I'll get the program and then I'll run it to get the hardware ID and set it on my personalized download page. Now, one thing to note, sometimes some antivirus software may prevent downloading this program that identifies hardware ID of the computer. There is nothing wrong with the program. You may need to, if you get some alert from your antivirus program that this is not a safe program, that is because it is not an usual program and it is accessing some hardware ID, that's all. You may need to pause or exit the antivirus program temporarily just to download the program to get hardware ID and save it. Once you save it, you may activate the antivirus program again. So that's what I'm going to do now. First, I'm going to get the program. I get the program from my forum that can generate the hardware ID. And then I'm going to save it on the personalized download page. That will activate QGlobal on this computer. Let's do that. If you go to my site, sagarnandy.com, under this category Q install, if I go to Q install, that has the subcategories for all Q systems. Now we are discussing QGlobal install. So select this subcategory QGlobal install. As I mentioned, this subcategory has all the different installation steps, the ones that I am carrying out now. If you go to this topic, how to download and install QGlobal, and scroll down, these are the steps, but you don't need to go through the steps now. I'm already capturing them in the video. See this program, HWinfo for QGlobal. Click on this and it will download the file HWinfo QGlobal. It has already downloaded in my usual download folder, HWinfo QGlobal. This is a zip file. Double click on it. Then it has an application, hardware info for QGlobal. Run the application. Windows alert, that's fine. Click more info, run anyway. And it is showing up on the other monitor. All it will do is generate a hardware ID specific to your computer and show it here. Copy this to clipboard. You may select it and press Ctrl+C, or you may just copy to clipboard. That is to get the hardware ID for QGlobal. So it is already copied to clipboard. Now remember, when you go to this site, my site, and go to this topic to download hardware info QGlobal, sometimes some antivirus programs may say that it is not downloading it. So in that case, you may have to pause or terminate the program for a while. Once you run the program and copy it to clipboard, you may close it and then you may immediately reactivate the antivirus program. So I have copied it to clipboard. Now go back to the personalized download page from where you downloaded QGlobal and optionally QGlobal 2 as well. Scroll to the bottom, there are two fields, account 1 and account 2. If you are doing the installation for the first time, this may be blank. Right click and paste. Remember, we already copied the hardware ID, paste it. Once you pasted the data, update the information. Scroll down to make sure that it is there, or even better, you have the refresh button of the browser, click that, resubmit the form, continue. So it is there. So just to make sure it's saved properly. So now we have installed QGlobal and told the personalized download page, which is also the license control page, to say this is the computer that has the active license. Now I mentioned that myself and all other Q traders have the habit of saving their computers IDs. Now account 1 and account 2 are for the actual active computers. If you scroll to the top, on the left hand top side, you see contact information. Click on contact information. And these fields are text fields, country, address, city. And this is where I save the hardware IDs. So for my Lenovo, this is my hardware ID. For my desktop, this is the hardware ID. And for Asus, this is the hardware ID. Currently, I'm using the desktop. So this is the hardware ID I set to account number 1. If I'm traveling and I'm using my Asus or Asus hardware ID, Asus computer for QGlobal, I'm going to copy this Asus hardware ID, go to account 1, paste the Asus hardware ID there and update information. That will activate Asus or Asus computer for QGlobal. But I'll not update information now because I'm still using my desktop. Rather, I may copy the desktop again, paste it there, update information. So that is how you activate QGlobal on a specific computer, and it's easy to remember the hardware IDs of different computers if you save them here itself. You don't have to run the hardware ID program every time on the computer to change the license to a different computer. So license is now activated. Installation is complete. Let's go to the next step. That is validation. Close and reopen Metastock. Open some of the Q charts and apply different templates to make sure they are displayed properly, and then run one or more Q explorers to make sure they are running properly. When you open Q charts, that takes care of indicators, and that also takes care of expert advisors that they are coming properly. When you run Explorer, then it takes care that explorers are running properly. And if both of these are running properly, then DLLs are also installed properly. So you just need to open charts with different templates and run one or two explorers. Once those are operating correctly, then your QGlobal installation is complete. So let's carry out this validation step. Go to Metastock first, close Metastock. So I exited Metastock and run it again. Metastock is open. Let's open a chart. Let's open Sky West. Opening it with smart charts. And then I already have in custom menu bar all the different templates. Let me apply a few templates. This is at a glance. This is stop loss template. Let me even open the intraday fine tune chart. Okay, all are coming properly. So that takes care of validating the indicators and expert advisors. Let's now close all the charts. Go to Explorer. Let's run some of the explorers. Now I use only the QGlobal Explorer. So what I do, I usually add them to favorites. Let me do that. Check mark the first explorer with Q prefix. Scroll down. shift and check mark the last one. If the last one doesn't get selected, check that once more. Scroll to the top, right click on the all explorations label and select add selected explorations to favorites. So now they're in favorites. I click on the header tree structure to unselect everything, and now see everything is in my favorites. I run from the favorites. Let's run to explorers. One good workflow is to look for stocks at price extreme low that are breaking out. That is one good example to run, because that will run multiple explorers in one shot. Let's do that. Let's look for stocks at price extreme low and reversing, and then long breakout. These are the two explorers selected, running them on daily interval. And this is just to make sure the scans are running properly. So let me choose the smaller list, liquid options list. Use current exchange date time and use the results from previous exploration, so that the first explorer will run first. Output of that will go to the second explorer. That is what I want. I want the results to show stocks that are both at price extreme low and reversing, and then from them only the ones that are breaking out. Start the explorer. It will show the progress bar. The first one selected 7, second one selected 0. That is fine. Let's look at the result of the first one. Let's double click on Activision Blizzard, ATVI. This should be at price extreme low and reversing. And that is indeed true. It was at price extreme low, and today's color improved from bright red to dark red. So that is the small change in pendulum low that is identified by the scan, though the scans also work properly. So we have validated all the components of QGlobal. Now the QGlobal installation is complete. So we downloaded QGlobal first. We refreshed existing installation by deleting existing components, installed QGlobal and QGlobal 2, set the default file, deleted cache, backed it up, activated the license, and validated the charts and explorers. That completes QGlobal installation. Thank you for joining. The next Q masterclass will be on Q Elite installation. I'll announce the date and time shortly and send the link to you as well. Thanks once again, and trade profitably. Thank you.